Hey guys, welcome back. In today's tutorial, we'll go through unwrapping this organic character. This sort of way of thinking or this approach for characters would be different, obviously, for different characters if they have different sort of features, but this guy is relatively similar to a human, so it's more or less the same. So I'm just going to cut it the way I normally do, and I'll sort of talk about it as I go through it. So we're in Rizom. I'm going to make sure that I have my edge selection turned on, which is over here. The hotkey is F2. And I'm going to start off by cutting the head. You can see that I've done this bodgy job here, where I've just sort of stitched it using this triangulated method. Not recommended, but it will work. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just cut it off from this section here. So I'm just going to carefully come into here and just try to get all of that in one hit. So I just want to get all of this part off because I think that would be a nice sort of starting point. If I was to do a proper head that's been unwrapped properly, or that's been modeled properly, I'll probably cut it off from here, like right at the top of the neck. So normally with heads, you would sort of cut on the back of the neck to allow it to unfold, and around the forehead is where you would sort of stop. And if you needed to, you can slice along the neck to the chin as well, which I think we'll need for this one. So I'm going to grab the center line, which is here, and slice all the way to about, say, here on this character. Let's go all the way down to the nose. And then for the bottom part, we'll slice about here. That'll leave most of the face kind of intact. I think this is probably a bit too much along the head, so I might take back some of that. Great. So I'm going to press C for cut, and then I'm going to unfold using the unwrap tool here. Use the hotkey. Great. So I'm going to Control Z that. I'm just going to select that island and then unwrap just that island. All right. Press tab and we can move this around. Okay, so we can press the optimize button a few times and that will optimize things for us. You can see there's a bit of distortion going on here, and we can sort of sort that out a little bit later. I think we can probably cut off the eye holes here to allow for a bit of extra sort of unfolding. But for now, let's just keep that like that and let's move on. So I'm going to do the arms, and let's grab, let's hide parts that we are not needing to focus on. So I'm going to press auto up here. I just want a nice clean loop. So that's not bad, so I might actually do it from there, even though it's not a clean loop, but I think that would work very nicely for me. So I can easily just get back all the way around just for a couple extra clicks. Alright, so I'll do the same for the other side. So I think we did that one there. So up here. Great, that looks good. So press C for cut. And let's focus on this hand. So I'm going to take auto off for now. And let's cut around the hand. So let's cut the wrist off. That looks pretty good. So I'll do the same for the other side. Alright, C for cut. And I'm going to cut from the inside of the arm. So roughly about there. Just going to do a nice clean cut all the way down the sides. And I'll repeat it for the other side as well. So this one, holding down shift. Alright, C for cut. And then U for unfold. I'm just going to select these two guys first and then press U for unfold. And I think there's O for optimize. So hold down tab to bring up the move gizmo. Just move that out of the way. Well, it looks pretty good. Great, so where we're at, we have let's see, just the body and the hands to get done. Okay, so let's hide these guys. Hide. No, isolate. That's right. So let's grab this and let's cut off the legs. So let's see if there's a nice clean loop here. Not quite, but close. Almost. Alright, let's see what we can get here. That might be a good starting point. Okay, so I'm going to grab the other side as well. Should be symmetrical, but I'm just going to double check. Great. And double click this line here. That probably goes a bit too high for me. So I want to get about here. So it should stop over there. Now let's see if we can get this one. That's more cleaner. Might go into here. Alright, let's change our approach. So over here, I'm just going to cut in and try to get this leg, a nice clean cut on the leg. Take that all the way to that line there. Oops. So let's deselect these guys. C for cut. And I'll try to get the similar sort of cut on the other side. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter because it's pretty messy anyways, as it is with the auto unwrapping that we've done. Alright, this would be good enough. So we just want to cut the legs off like that. Okay. So we've got two legs. And what I'm going to do is grab these two, see if I can isolate them. And then what I'm going to do is so isolate. Then these guys on here, I'm just going to cut that off. Alright, so C for cut. Let's grab these legs. We'll deal with them later, so let's hide that. So we're left with just these two legs. And then I'm going to cut on the inside all the way down. So that looks like a nice clean cut there. See if we can get one a bit higher. Yeah, let's do that. So it's this one here. The other side. So let's press C for cut. And then let's grab these guys and unfold them. So I'm going to go to the unfold tab, click that, press optimize a few times, and if I hold down tab I can move these around. I'm just going to grab these two and move them off to the side. Right, so we need to move these off up here. Let's do the body. So let's isolate this, and I'm just going to split that along the sides. All right. So down here, let's just make that initial cut, and on the sides, let's go from here. Let's get a nice clean cut all the way to the top. So up here. And let's do that. I'm going to go to my side view, make sure I'm in orthographic. Okay, just want to see what, so, okay, just want to make sure I get the right one, make it somewhat clean. So 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4 little squares from this edge here. About there. Alright, and then I'll continue all the way up from the shoulders to the neck. So let's just get a nice clean cut. So maybe about there. So this one will do. Alright. Great, so let's press C for cut. And then let's grab these two UV islands and then let's unfold them. Let's optimize them by pressing the button. And then let's move them off to the side. So we've got we should have two pieces, the front and the back. Great. So let's go back to our main scene. So we've got the head unwrapped. We need to do the eyes. So let's just do that now. So let's grab these and isolate them. Let's go to our edge mode. Let's go to the top view. Let's just grab the center line running along. Alright, so we've got that. Let's do the same for the other side. Great, C for cut. Let's grab these UV islands and then let's unfold them. Optimize if we need to, and that would be fine. Let's move that off to the side. Alright, let's see what we need to do. We need the hands and the feet. Right. So let's start off with the hands. Let's grab both of these, isolate them. And we basically want to split the hand in half, long ways, I guess. So if we can try to get a nice split running across, that'll be great. If not, then we'll just have to do this manually. Which is fine. So let's just grab from here to here. Great, C for cut, and let's quickly do the same for the other side. So just quickly cut maybe from here. And I'm being pretty rough with this because it's not in any way, shape or form sort of like well retoppered. It's just an auto retopper, so it's just going to be messy anyway, so I'm just going to keep this as simple, this process anyways, as simple as possible. If I was to do a proper version of this, I would definitely spend some time getting this right, but basically we want to slice it right in half, just like this, and then we can just optimize or unfold it and optimize a couple times. All right. And the feet more or less, well, it's not the same actually. We'll go through it. So how I like to do this is basically slice the whole bottom of the feet, and then you either slice back here or round about here. So let's get started with that. It's gonna, like the hands, I'm just gonna quickly come in here and try to slice the toes in half like this. And I'm trying to slice the bottom of the feet off like that. Right, and I'll do the same for the other side as well. Great, and I'm just going to slice the back of the legs from just like this. Press C for cut, and then let's unfold these, and we should be close to done. So unfold that and optimize. So now if I show all, I should be able to just press this pack button and we'll just grab everything and pack it in. Great, so you can sort of see some bits aren't sort of fitting. That's okay. We'll work that out. So let's see. We can turn these off. All right. So let's just take a look at our initial unfold. I'm fairly happy with that. I think I might leave these guys as is because it's just the eye holes, which are going to be covered by the eyeball, so I'm not too worried about that. Same with the nostrils, that's going inside, so I'm not too worried. These are going to be more or less just one color anyway, so I might not even unwrap them, to be honest. But I'll probably just do an auto unwrap on all these little guys, just because I don't want to spend all that time cutting these up. So I'm just going to highlight these. And they're the nails, by the way. So I'm just going to go to the side. I'll convert that into, well, I wanted this selection, which is the edge selection, sorry. So I'm just going to redo that selection. Okay, and let's make sure we have our pelt selection made. I'll turn that off so you don't need to see it, and just press the auto selection. I might grab everything, I'm not too sure. Yeah, so it's just grabbing everything. So what I'm going to do is Control Shift and click all these guys to deselect them, because we don't want them selected at all. We should just have the nails selected. Great. So I'm just going to run a cut, unfold them, and I'm just going to pack everything again. Oops. Okay, so let's highlight these guys. It seems like I need to do this. And let's see what we can do to pack this nicely. All right. So I want the packing properties, these should be set to full, and I think I do have them set to full. So just make sure they're set to that. We can check the overflow. So turn the overflow off, and I want it to scale down if I need to, because I don't want it to go over the edges like it's doing now. So I'm just going to repack that. So it will scale everything down to where it needs to be. We can try to change the orientation of everything, or of some of these islands. So right now it's using 54% of this UV space. So we can change the orientation optimization to 90 and then repack. So we've got a little bit more distribution there. If we're going for a specific sort of textile density, we can pick our textile density here and pack by textile density. But we are just looking to get as much resolution out as possible. I don't really know what these little guys are. Oh, they're part of the toenails. Okay, I'm not even worried about the toenails. So what I'm going to do is pack across UDIMs. So down here we have UDIMs. So I'm going to pack 4 UDIMs, and I want to try to distribute this across evenly. So I'm just going to highlight everything and just press pack. If that doesn't happen, sometimes you just got to click these guys. So I'm just clicking the labels down here and pressing pack. So highlight these guys and pack. And now I must be doing that wrong. Let's try that again. So let's highlight these guys and pack across. So you need to do it the other way around, right? So you can see that we're packing all of these guys across the UDIMs. Ideally, you want to sort of create some logic between all these guys, but we just want to, for this example, it'll probably be fine. But if you were to do it properly, you'll probably want to have, depending on your character, you want to pack certain things together, right? So if you have clothing, you might have a set of clothing for each UDIM. So you might have this shirt on one UDIM, the jacket on another UDIM, and then miscellaneous sort of accessories like a scarf, jewelry, things like that on another one. And then you might have the body spread across 4, but you might have like the head on one, followed by like the hair maybe, then the body, and then the limbs, right? You probably don't want to pack it like this, but what we're interested in is just getting the maximum amount of resolution as possible. So I might cut these guys in half because they seem to be taking a lot of space. So I'm just going to grab these guys here and just give it a slice along the edge here and just repack. And that's giving me more. See, we went from 32% of this UDIM to 45%. So I'm just maxing out the UDIM as much as possible. And the initial scale will be based on an average textile density. So the textile density will be average across all pieces, right? So there's a lot of wasted space in some of these guys. So I might see if I can sort of slice some things further. You don't necessarily want to do that too much because yeah, the more seams, the more potential visibility of those seams that you might get. But I want to see if we can maximize this as much as possible. So I'm going to unfold these guys again, optimize a couple times, and then pack. So it went to 48. Right. Unfold this, then pack across. Right, there's probably, I mean, I'm sure we can pack this more efficiently. I want to see if we can do that. Some automation, add some automation in there to speed things up. Okay, I'm going to run with this. I might actually cut this part off because it's taking a lot of space. Definitely could slice that. And I'll do the same for the other side. I think that's a big waste of space. Yeah, but then whilst you want to have texture density the same going across, there's some areas where you might not want that to happen. For example, the bottom of the feet, which are here, you're not going to see that really. So you might even just make that really small. So I can grab these guys and take them out of the equation. And then even these little guys, I could do the same as well, but they don't seem to be taking a lot of space up. So I can grab all of this, unfold, because I did some cutting earlier, and then pack that to get more space out of that, basically, right? And then I can just find a spot for these guys. Anywhere will be fine, really. Here. Great. So that looks pretty good to me. Again, try to think about how you can put a bit of logic into your unwrapping. If you got different pieces on your character, for example, you got some organic skins and things like that, but then there's some hard surface bits to it. You might want to separate all the soft surface parts and then have a second UDIM for the hard surface bits. Right. That just gives, yeah, it makes it easier to understand later on. Great, so I'm just going to save this. So I'm just going to save that over the FBX that we imported. So I'm just going to press File, Save. So now if I bring up Substance Painter and just go through that baking process, I can show you how it looks different from here. So let's go File, New, and I have that on my desktop. So it's just going to override the one that's there. So it's full load, which is this one. Okay, we want to turn off auto unwrap, and we want to use a UV tile workflow. And set the resolution to 4K. Then press OK, making sure I have the Unreal Engine 4 starter template. So now you can see in the UV space, we have multiple UDIMs. So we have 4 of these. You can have infinite, like this goes forever. Although I don't think Substance Painter can handle that many UDIMs. But now if we go into the baking process, so I'm just going to change that to 3D only. Let's go to the baking process. You can see over here we have a bunch of texture sets, and these texture sets will have certain UDIMs associated with that. So the body retopo goes across all of the UDIMs, whereas these guys only sit on UDIM 1. So eyes, the fingernails, and the other nails. So let's bring in the high poly, which is over here. So this might take a bit of time, and remember we want to use a matching by mesh names if we got multiple different UV texture sets. Great, so I just remember I have one missing mismatch. I'm not worried about that. So let's press bake, and this is going to take some time. So I'm just going to pause the recording, and I'll come back when it's done. Okay, we're back. That didn't take too long, maybe about 5 minutes or so. And let's check out the results. Great, so that looks really good. Nice and crisp. And no obvious errors here. I can see anyways, maybe up there. Yeah, that's an error. But we can always rebake that if we need to. Just looks like if we go back to the baking, it's probably just the high poly just not matching that area close enough. So you can sort of see on the inside. You can see if we can spot anything obvious that's causing that problem. So I sort of suspect that the max frontal distance is intersecting that area a bit too much, maybe. Could adjust the rear distance to see if that can make any differences. Right, so I made adjustments to the frontal distance just to bring that in a little bit. And I'm just going to check if that's going to fix things up. We can get pretty tight. Just check for any errors. A little bit over here. Okay, let's run with this to see if that is a better bake. So again, I'm going to pause this because it's going to take about 5 minutes maybe, and I'll come back when it's done. Okay, we're back. Let's take a look at the results. Okay, so the main problem was over here, and that looks like it's completely gone, which is good. Great. Now we've made some changes, so we just want to make sure that we didn't introduce any new problems. Okay, that looks good. All right. Great. So again, let's take a look at the UVs here. and you can see that we have multiple UVs. The views are based off what you have selected in your texture set. So this one here, which is the body retopo, will have, it goes across all four. So you can see that, and we can isolate based off that. What's good about this method is that if you, let's say for example, want to paint the inside of the eyes, which, you know, let's just say it's very detailed, you can hide the eyes in the view and then paint inside. So if you have a multi-layered mesh, so for example clothing, layered clothing, you can hide the clothes on and off and just paint where you need paint to be. And smart materials and things like that should work across all the UDIMs. Great, so I hope you like that, and I'll see you guys in the next one.